meet up about the automation testing concepts. So previously, Salesforce admin group Trichy conducted the QA mockup interview for the manual testing. So that session handled by Josrati and Shyamla Devi. So today we have a session for automation testing for how to crack the interviews at the first time in an automation testing concept. So we have a wonderful speaker, Aishwarya Kalpati Gopalakrishnan. She had more experience to in the testing field, and there is a huge difference between two different scenarios between manual and automation concepts. Many people have aware about the what is automation concept and what is the manual concepts. So those people who don't have any knowledge between the difference between these two concepts, manual and automations. So our speaker can explain well about the differentiation and the purpose of automation concepts, and what are the tools are available in the automation concept testing concepts, and how to crack the interviews at the first attempt in a QA department. So I like to thank Aishwarya Kalpati Gopalakrishnan, because she prepared for the session, and she handled this. She will going to handle the session, and I hope guys you got more clarification regarding this automation concept. And I like to hand over the sessions to us, Aishwarya. Thanks.
Thanks, Kadar. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Thank you. So, hi everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank all of you for joining this session. So, let me introduce myself. I am Aishwarya. I have around 8+ years experience in IT industry. Currently working as a tech lead in MSD Solutions. I have predominantly worked on automation testing and software development field. So my experience scatters over various testing frameworks like data-driven framework, hybrid framework, and also with tools like Selenium, Cucumber BDD, mobile automation, Protractor, etc. And I also have extensive working experience in all phases of SDLC and methodologies like Scrum, Agile, Waterfall. So today I'm going to talk about the how you can prepare for a automation testing interview. I have been in this automation testing interview panel for about last 5 years. So I'd like to share a few tips on how can you prepare yourself for an interview, and also to give an overview of what you can expect in automation testing interview for about 0 to 1 year experience. So this is today's agenda. I'll give the preparation tips, and also after that I'll go forward with some sample interview questions. First, let me start off by giving you a few tips on how to prepare for the interview. So researching about the company you are applying is an important part of preparing an interview. So it will help you to provide context for your interview conversations. So it is also important to read the job description carefully and understand the requirement and responsibilities of the role which you are applying. The JD contains all the list of qualifications, qualities, and background the employer is looking for an ideal candidate. So the more you align to yourself to these details, the more employer will be able to see that you are qualified. So the JD also gives you an idea about the questions that employer may ask throughout the interview. So consider your answer to common interview questions. So there are a few questions you can plan your answers and be prepared before. Like surely they will ask to tell about yourself, to your experience, your strength and weakness. So you can share the qualities and details about you, a little bit personal, but more relating to your work. So, and also if you are attending an interview for a development role or a automation role, you might also be asked to write some lines of code or evaluate or debug some codes. So make sure your laptop is ready with basic softwares required. Like if you are attending with a Java background, make sure Java is installed, Eclipse is installed, or whichever editor you're comfortable with, and also a pen and paper if you want to write the logic and show to them. And practice, practice, practice. So it is important to make sure a positive and lasting impression during the interview process. So you can only do this by practice. Have to speak in a strong voice and friendly voice, open good body language. You have to be concise and focused on what you are talking. So conduct mock interviews. So just like public speaking, practicing interviews is also the best way to relieve your anxiety and also improve your confidence. So, but practice may look little tedious, but repeatedly experiencing the interviews will make you more comfortable and get you a good impression. So, the more you attend or repeat your interviews, the more confident you will be while answering. So prepare several thoughtful questions to the interviewer. So at last, obviously the interviewer will ask, you have any questions for me? So many employers feel confident about the candidate who asks thoughtful or good questions about their company or position. So you can ask like, so what is the typical roles and responsibilities of the person you are looking for this position? Or you can also ask like, I really like the opportunity, so what is the next step in the hiring process? You can make some friendly conversation with the interviewer. So these are some general tips. So next important thing is how to say no in an interview. So obviously if in any interview JD, you may have technologies or skills that you are not aware of, or you don't have that specific skills. So if they ask any specific questions regarding that, rather than saying, no, I don't have those skill sets, you can say in polite way, like, these are the skills I am willing to learn. So I am attending I am going and planning to do some workshop, or I'm planning to attend some online sessions for that. So be prepared to talk about those skill sets which you lack. So you might always get a question like, have you worked on or have you built any automation framework? So with your experience, or sometime you may not have got that opportunity to do that. So you can instead of directly saying no, you can say like, I don't have direct experience in that area, but I did have a chance to cover for a coworker who handled this area. So I got an opportunity to learn a little bit from him, and I would like to improve myself on how to handle that. So these are some of the tips you can follow to crack an interview in a good way. So the types of interview nowadays, most of the companies prefer face-to-face interviews. There can be a couple of rounds. Some companies prefer first round as over the phone, which includes some testing the basic skills. And if you have cleared that, they will call to have a face-to-face interview. There can be two more rounds, like first round, second round will be more technical, and third round will be manager round. So nowadays in this scenario, or with the corona, or if you are not available physically in that specific work location, they always prefer to have a video session. So make sure you have good connectivity and your video is very clear. So you will have to gain that trust with them. So let me start off by telling you a major difference what is about manual testing and automation testing, so that you will be clear which profile you have to choose. So manual testing, as you all know, it is always done by QA testers manually, and automation on the other hand is done with tools and scripts. If you come to efficiency, manual will be time consuming and less efficient, but automation will be of greater efficiency. And the type of task, manual will be entirely done by the human tester, but automation, most of the tasks can be included, including the report generations or real user simulations, and coverage will be little less in manual compared to automation. So in manual and generic, there can be chance for human errors, and there is always a large possibility of doing exploratory testing, but the nightly build, nightly manual testing is not possible. And there is no much need for a programming knowledge. But in man automation, the chance for human errors will be less as it is done by tools, and we can always execute the test case, test suite in a nightly build, and there is a must that you have to know the programming knowledge. So these are some of the basic difference. So if you are seeing your career in an automation testing field, so these are the options available in front of you. So in the initial stage of your career, you can start off with a manual tester, because right from the first day, you will not be able to write the code, because you have to understand the functionality, you have to understand the testing process, what are the life cycle included in the testing process, everything. So it's always good to start by learning what is manual testing, and after that you can move to an automation tester role, where you learn about all the testing tools, programming languages, everything. And then TL, where you can handle a team, a project team, and take decisions on what has to be done for the project point of view, resolve any technical issues, and after that, the next level would be a test manager, where you can handle multiple test projects, and then it will be a director or head of unit. So this is the career path you can look up if you take an automation testing as a career. So let me start with going to the mock questions, or questions that you can expect from an interview point of view. Till now, you have any questions? Okay, so I take that as a no. So if you are preparing for an interview, so these are some of the common topics that you need to be aware of. So you will you can expect questions about the basic knowledge of automation testing, and basic programming knowledge like OOPS concept. So any programming knowledge, if you are aware, that will be enough, like any Java, C Hash, Python. So you can have multiple programming knowledge as well. And then Selenium, which is one of the mostly used automation tool nowadays. So basic knowledge of Selenium is also required. And then you can expect questions around different types of frameworks, and also like TestNG patterns. So let me start off with the first basic question, like what is the automation testing process? So anyone like to answer this question? Anyone from the audience? Please be free to come up with your answers, even though if it is wrong or right. I mean, it will be always good to interact. It will gain confidence for you, right? So please come up. Please open up with your answers. So I think I'll go forward and tell you how you should answer this particular question.
Okay.
Yes. Anyone is ready to answer for that? Okay. So first step will be always the testing tool selection. Like we have to check if the application can be automated or not, because all the applications cannot be automated due to limitations. And then we have so depending on that, we have to select the tool, and also it depends on the technology on which application is built, its features and usage. And we have to accordingly we have to select the framework also, and and then we have to move to the next level, define the scope of automation. So application should not be automated in the early stage of its development, because the UI will not be stable, and because if the UI changes frequently, our script will break. So we have to always automate, which are a stable application. Then comes planning and execution. So in that planning, we have to select the environments where the script will be executed. The environment includes like the various browsers, OS, hardware configurations. And when the framework is designed, the execution plan is known, and the resources that has to be trained on new tool. So when all these things are ready, we are okay to start with writing the scripts. So and then once the test case is executed, everything is done, we are going to the maintenance phase. So anyone has any idea like how the test scripts can be well maintained? What is that we need to do to maintain the test scripts? Okay, so maintenance usually occurs when there is a change request on an application. The script should be immediately updated if there is any change in order to have a flawless execution. So if the framework is not good and the best practices are not followed, then the maintenance will be very difficult. So in our experience, we have seen many automation projects have failed due to poor maintenance of the scripts. So you can always explain that with a real-time example like, okay, we had an application where the application scripts were running only in one language, say English, but there was a change request that comes up that the application should support another language like Chinese or French or German. So we were able to update our scripts with little effort and to support the execution of that specific language. So you have to, if you are telling these answers in your from your real-time examples, it will be always good. It will create a good impression in the interview. So how to select test candidates for automation testing? So that is also one important question you can expect in any interview, because you cannot automate all the test cases that is written manually. So how to choose the test cases from that? So anyone like to answer that question? Okay, I'll explain you how better you can answer this question. So these are some of the candidates test cases we can choose for automation testing. So you can always identify the business critical paths which the application flow is very critical. You can always automate that, and that test cases that needs to be run against every build or release of the application, like smoke testing, regression, sanity. So those test cases can be automated. The test that has to be run against multiple configurations, and the data driven testing, for example, test, you have to execute the same workflow but different inputs for each time of the test run. You can always go for automation, automate those test cases. And for large set of data set, like filling up very long forms, you can always go for automation testing. And the testing like performance testing, like stress and load test, you can always go for performance automation testing. So this is a better way you can answer that elaborately. So before going to the next set of questions, like anyone like to share any tools like in the automation testing field, which you are aware of? Any few automation testing tools?
Selenium.
Yes, Rajakumari?
Yeah, I said
Would you like to
Selenium.
answer that? Yeah, Selenium. Yes, you're right. You know any other tools also?
Catalan.
Yes. Can you please little louder, please?
Yeah, I said Catalan. Can you hear me?
Catalan. Yes. Right. Yes, thank you so much, Rajkumari. I appreciate it. So yes, so there are so many tools that are available in market currently. So these are some of the tools like Selenium that she pointed out. We have other tools like Cucumber, Protractor, TestIM, Cypress, APM. So these all tools, we select these tools depends upon the application. For example, if you want if your application is AngularJS, it's always better to go with Protractor because it supports so many AngularJS features like identifying the locators specific like ng model. So Protractor has a lot more features compared to basic Selenium. So we always select the tool based on the nature of the application. If you're going with BDD, can always choose Cucumber. And the nowadays, the next era of automation is codeless automation, where everything you don't need to write a single piece of code to write your test cases. So there are some tools like TestIM, Apply tools, Robot Framework, are all next generation AI tools. And if you are going with mobile automation, you can always choose APM. That is one of the best tool available in the market nowadays. And OATS and all is a performance testing tool. So, so this question they can ask you just to know your knowledge or just to know your interest to know what is the current automation testing tool market. So it's always good to answer some of the tools. So let me go to the next set of questions, which is in basic Java. So this is one of the basic OOPS concept like overloading. So anyone know what's the answer for this? Method overloading is an example of. Can someone try? Okay, let me tell you what it is all about. So method overloading is a feature that allows a class to have more than one method having the same name. So the answer here is static binding. So this is how it is. So add as a method, you can use the same method name for different parameter list. So this is also called as static polymorphism or compile time binding or a static time binding. So it basically happens, the method called to its definition happens at the compile time. So that is why it has this name. You can always have an basic understanding of OOPS concept in detail because surely you can expect some questions on that perspective. So it's and just to write a few lines of code on explaining that instead of telling okay method overloading is a feature that allows like that, you can just write a simple code like these two examples and show what is it all about. So next one is, can we create non-static variables in an interface? Anyone like to try this out? What can we create non-static variables like int x, y in an interface like demo interface? Please try. The answer can be wrong or right. Please try. Okay. So like the answer is no, because interface is in Java is similar to class, but it contains only abstract methods and the fields are static and final. So all the fields of an interface are public, static, final by default. So here XY will be observed the same like static, public, final. So the value of the variable must be assigned in a static context as we cannot instantiate the interface. So this is also a major basic question you can expect in an interview. So understand the concept of what is interface, what is abstract class, what is static variables. So please have a understanding of these concepts so that it will be easy for you to answer. So this is one another simple debugging question. So here we have two class A in package pack1 and class B, which is extending class A, which is in package pack2. So is this can be done? This way of code is correct? Anyone like to say, try this out? Okay, so the answer is no, because of the basic concept like the access modifiers. So the class with default or no access modifier, because here it is class A, no public, private, protected, no modifiers are used here. So here it will be taken as a default access modifier. For a default access modifier, it cannot have a subclass outside the package, because class A is in pack 1, class B is in pack 2. As they are default, class A is default, we cannot have a subclass outside its package. So it's always good to know what are the access modifiers. So as I mentioned, these are the access modifiers available, like private, default, protected, and public. So please have a basic understanding, like what's the scope when we define a variable or a method or a class as a private, how it is accessible within the class, within the package, or outside the class. So you can expect some debugging questions like this in your interview. Any doubts? Okay. So, so from the basic Java or testing your technical programming skills, basic programming skills, they will ask you to write a program. You can expect some of these questions, like which will test your basic Java knowledge, core Java knowledge, like reverse a string, which handles about the string manipulation topics. So they can also ask you to write reverse a string in Java with different options. You can either use loop, or you can go with string buffers. So they can ask you to write the same program in multiple ways. To test the knowledge in array side, basic loops, for loop, if loop. So all these basic concepts, please be prepared. Obviously, they will ask you to write a program in Java, because for automation, programming skill is a must. So you can expect it. If you are not comfortable writing the full program, you can just write a logic. Try writing a logic in the, and or an algorithm. Show the flow of how you can handle this. If you are very good or very comfortable in writing the entire program, you can always open your Eclipse or your editor, write the code, execute, and show them. It's always good in either ways. Okay, so now let me move on to the Selenium core questions. It's like I think most of you will be aware of this question by now. Like, what are the locators used in Selenium? So, anyone like to answer this for me? At least one of two, please. Please come up. Let's make it more interactive.
Like XPath CSS.
Yes, Gayatri.
So the locators may be like XPath CSS, where
Yes.
we used to actually identify the elements.
Yes. Yes, you are right, Gayatri. Thank you so much for your answer. I really appreciate it. So, yes, as Gayatri said, these are some of the Selenium locators we have, like ID, class, tag, partial text, link text. XPath, name, and CSS. So we use these Selenium locators to locate the elements in our code. So you can expect questions like when you are either face to face or online, they will ask you to, when you have a laptop in front of you, they will ask you to open any web page and point any web element and ask you what is the best way to locate this element. So you can always tell them the major ways you can write or locate this specific element. So you can also get questions around what are the different types of XPath. Anyone is aware of it? What are the different types of XPath? Okay, so there are two types of XPath, absolute XPath and relative XPath. Absolute XPath, we mostly don't use that much because if you make any changes to the code, as it starts from the root element of the HTML page, if you make any changes to the application or the page, the code will break. So mostly we don't prefer absolute XPath, we always go with relative XPath. So if and also like there can be questions on more about XPath. If your ID changes dynamically, what you will do, how you will locate this element, because ID is always unique, right, for a specific element, but there can be situation like ID changes dynamically. So in that case, how will you write a XPath, or how to identify that specific element? Any idea, guys? Please try, guys, so that it will be more interactive. You can always uh, give some hints about it. Okay, so we can always go with ID name CSS first, but if the elements are dynamic, then we can choose dynamic XPath, which like you can write an XPath with following keywords like contain, sibling, ancestors, like following sibling, preceding sibling. So all these things we are going to write an XPath referring to another element, like its parent element or a child element or the sibling. So even if the main element changes, it will not break the code. It will be running. It will be taking the XPath dynamically. So next, so be prepared with all these questions because surely they will ask a real-time scenario around this. And how to locate a drop-down value OD using Selenium. So there are so many ways we can find this value. Anyone like to try this? What are the options we have in Selenium?
Select by. So
Yes,
in XPath we can use the select by option keyword.
Yes, right. Correct. So thanks, Gayatri, again. So here we have first step is to identify that element. You can use find element method and use any XPath or name to identify that element. And there are three options available like select by index, select by value, and select by visible text. So select by index always points towards like the select the option that at the particular index. For example, if the index starts with 0, the OD is in 4th position, so I can say like select by index of 4 and select by index by value of OD. That means if the option whose value attribute, there will be a value attribute in the HTML tag, right? So attribute, you can take that value attribute and matches the specified parameter like and by select by visible text. What is the visible text here? It is OD, right? So you can use that specific method to identify the specific drop. So this also they can ask you in real time. They will open a web page having drop down and ask you to identify this option programmatically. So it's good to have some knowledge around it. So and now next will be the basic or the most important feature, like how to handle multiple browser windows in Selenium. So which of the following method is used to work with multiple browser windows? Anyone like to answer this? Okay, so the answer is get window handles and get window handle, both B and C. So window handle, get window handle is so it's good to explain that what is window handle first, so that the interviewer will get an impression that okay, you know the basics of what it is all about. So say like a window handle is a unique identifier that holds the address of that window. So it will be a unique element, unique address, and it's a basically we can store that in a string value. So get window handle will help in getting the handle of the current window, and window handles will give you the handles of all the windows that is being opened. So here also you can explain with the real-time scenario. Okay, I'm going to a website like citibank.com where I'm going to log into a net banking website. So if you see the citibank.com website, if you click the internet banking button, it will always open a new tab. And there only you have to enter the username, password, and login. So it's always a parent and child window concept. So how to do that in automation perspective? You can explain like this, like okay, open the browser first, and I'll open the home page, that is the Citibank page, and get the window handle of that main window, and I store that in a string, and then with the window handles method, I'll get all the child window that is being opened, and I can store it as in a set, and I will iterate the set and switch to child window. So once I do all the operations there, I will close the driver and come back to the parent window. So if you explain it in this way, it will be very good, because the interviewer, the panel will get good impression that okay, they know how to do this. It will be good if you write the code, but explanation will also be sufficient. So this is one of the important question in any automation interview. Do you have any exposure to automation frameworks? So in this you can answer what all the frameworks that you are aware of. So anyone like to tell or what you have learned, or any frameworks you are aware of? So I would have mentioned about some frameworks in the beginning of my slide also. So anyone like to think and tell? So by now you would have had some read some tutorials about Selenium, right? So have you come across any kind of framework names as such?
Data-driven framework.
Yes, thank you so much, Rajkumari. So correct, data-driven framework is one of the main framework that we use in all of our applications. So anyone like to share anything else? Any other framework?
Keyword driven.
Yes, right. Thanks, Gayatri. Okay, so these are some of the frameworks that are available, like linear automation, where in the linear automation framework, it's commonly used for testing small application. It's like a record and playback feature, but currently that is not available in market now. A modular driven framework where the test scripts, like we basically break down the application into several modules and then test the scripts individually. But these also have some issues, like it requires additional time in analyzing the test cases and identifying the reusable framework, reusable flows. And then the most widely used framework nowadays, BDD, behavior driven development framework. So here it is very easy to create a platform where everyone like the developer, tester, business analyst, anyone can participate actively in this kind of framework. So like you can use common natural language, like non-technical language to write some code in this. Data driven, as Gayatri said. So here test data is read from external files like Excel file, test files, CSV files. All those we have to load the data from these to the test script. And then keyword driven. So here it is basically used only for small applications or projects where the scripts are performed based on the keywords specified in the Excel sheet of the project. So and then comes hybrid. It's a combination of the benefits available in keyword driven and data driven. So this basically leverage all the advantages of all kinds of related framework. So you don't need to be aware of all the frameworks that is shown here. It's better to have some knowledge about one or two here, basically data driven, BDD, hybrid. So if you give some explanation like this, it's well and good. So so if you say, if your answer is yes, I have some knowledge in building framework or some exposure to the frameworks, they will obviously ask you, okay, can you tell a little bit about that? How have you done your framework in your project? So you can always start off with explaining. So this is basically to know your experience with the automation tool, this question. So you can explain each component of your framework architecture, right from the point of test automation execution to the generating the reports. So if you have a whiteboard or sheet in front of you, utilize that. You can draw all the components of your framework, the architecture and the connections between each of these, so that it will be well explained to the interviewer. So you can always say, okay, I have done a project where I have used data-driven framework and page object model. So so if you say these techniques like page object model or data-driven, see they obviously ask you, okay, what is POM? So you can start off like this, like explaining we did our project using data-driven framework with this pattern and page factory. As per the page object model, we have maintained a class for every web page. And each of these class holds the functionality of members of that page. Each class will handle a separate test. And you can also explain what are the packages in your project, like pages and test. Under pages, like you have all the web page related classes, and the test contains all the test cases. You can also explain in a real-time perspective, okay, my application have a home page and login page. We have separate classes to store these element locators. And I also have some base class. As mentioned, you can draw the structure to them in a simple way, so that it will give you an impression that, okay, you have a thorough understanding of what you have done. So you can explain like what is the base class is used for, what I have included in that. So I can say I have written the code for initializing the web driver, implicit wait, creation of extend reports. All those things I have written in the base class. So always we have some utility classes, right? So can someone tell me what are the common utilities you use in your project? Any common utilities you are aware of?
Excel util.
Yes, correct. Anything else? Yeah. Thanks for your answer, Gayatri. So yes, one of the main important is Excel util. So we always use Apache POI to handle this Excel sheet. So we have several other utilities like logger, screenshot, any dates or actions. All these things we can include in the utility class. So you can explain in such a way that whatever you have done in that or included in that framework, you can just talk to them about it. So let me try to show you in a diagram, a diagrammatic view, like how you can explain the architecture. If they say if you say I have a knowledge on how to build a framework or how these components are interconnected. So let me try to ask you your knowledge on these tools. So it will be always good if you specifically tell the name of a tool and explain them. It will be very good for them to understand what it is all about. So anyone knows the first step will be retrieving the test cases, right? So anyone have any like what kind of test management tool you use for that? So even in manual testing, we have so many test management tools, right? So any name you can suggest, or can you identify this logo? Any test management tool name?
TestRail,
Yes, right.
Rally.
Rally, yeah. So this logo is Rally's logo. TestRail, Rally, HP, ALM. So these are all common test management tools. So you can say we always retrieve the test cases from this runoff test management tool, and then move to. So next step will be identifying the framework. Like say either you can use SE. What is that stands for? It's a simple question, right? This logo is for
Selenium.
Selenium, right? And this one is for Cucumber BDD framework. So whichever framework you are taking up, so you can identify that. Say this is the framework I have used, or this is the tool I have used, and then the next step will be I started how configuring this project, right? So you can basically say I have used what are the properties file, for example config.properties, where I have given browser specific information, application URLs, all the credentials, all these things I have kept in my property file. And also package.json. If you are using frameworks like Karate or something, you can always talk about package.json, where you will keep all the dependencies you need for the software dependencies you need for this project. So you can say I read all the configurations from this project properties files, or the related files, and then some from where you will read the test data. So that is the next thing, right? So what are the sources of data source, like you are aware of? Okay, so we can always load the test data from any of these, right? You all know what is this logo is all about, right? Under the read test data, we can have three logos. The first one, everyone will be aware of it. Can someone like to tell about it? Which logo is this? I expect an answer for this, please. Okay, so this is an Excel, and this is second one is SQL, and third is a Google API. So you can have retrieve the test data for your framework from any of these sources. And also next step will be how you trigger the test, right? How you will start the test. So you can always say if you have used CI/CD in your project, you can always say I have used Jenkins, and by using the Jenkins tool, we execute the test cases on daily basis and also for nightly execution. We use the code repository as GitHub. So and this is how I trigger my test every day, or as per the schedule. And this comes after triggering to the test suite, it will come to your controller. So the controller can be anything like testng or the test runner class. So this is the logo of test runner, and so basically our test case execution starts. So once this flow is completed, and then we will go to test case execution. In the test case execution, you can always say what are the browsers you are executing your test case. Like I'm executing my in one browser or multiple browser. You can also talk about Selenium Grid if you have knowledge about it. And so this is a part of test case execution. So once the execution is done, there are some things which we do, right? If you find a defect, obviously you will raise it. So anyone knows about any bug tracking tool? Any common bug tracking tool which you are using in your daily routine?
Jira.
Jira, correct. So this is a Jira icon, Jira logo. So you can report your defect in your Jira. With obviously you will have screenshots of obtained from the reports. You can generate a report directly from your automation script. There is no need to create a separate report manually. You can also do it automatically. So this is an Allo report, Cucumber report. There are so many reports available. So you can always take the screenshot and attach it into a Jira ticket. So you can also say if you have done code coverage. So this is SonarQube. So if you have knowledge about SonarQube code coverage, you can also talk about it. So this gives an entire view on how we can explain the framework and what is actually happening in an automation project. So apart from this, you can expect some common questions like what's the project methodology used in the project. So anyone like to tell me like any common methodology, project management methodology, which you know? Okay, so there are some methodologies like waterfall, agile. So most commonly used model is agile nowadays. So you can talk about what you will do in agile methodology project. If you have an exposure towards that, you can tell like in my project we use agile. We follow Scrum. We have Scrum team. We have daily stand-ups and Scrum sprint planning. And then at the end of the sprint demo, retrospective. So any such concepts, if you are aware of, you can tell about it. And then obviously they will ask questions about manual testing, because without manual knowledge you cannot be an automation person. So basic concepts like they can also give you an question real-time scenario. Okay, write some test cases for an ATM withdrawal scenario. Write some test cases for a calculator if you are testing a calculator. So you can include your basic manual terms like boundary value analysis. So all those basic concepts, it's good to have knowledge. And you can also expect, if you have like 1 year or 2 years experience, you can expect some questions like what are the challenges you have faced in your project, any technical challenges you like to share with us, how do you overcome those. So these are some of the questions which you can get apart from all these common questions. So that's all from my side, guys. So I like to hear if you have any questions to me, if you need any more information from a interview point of view. Okay, so these are some of the references you can look into for getting some idea about what are the basic interview questions. So we prepared with all the basic concepts of OOPS, any tool, software testing tool, and an automation tool, and also any framework knowledge. So basically, these can help you to clear an interview. Hopefully, the session was informative. So if you like to know more about any of these concepts or any information, please feel to reach out to us. So last, and one more time. If you have any questions, I'm open to that. We can close the session if otherwise.
Thank you, Aishwarya, for the wonderful session. And thank you, participants, to make this session as an interactive and interesting one. Thanks, everyone in this session who participate as participants in this session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys.